present the Kazoo Champion of Champions. Four new Q Kings ready to enter the battlefield. At the end of the day, only one will remain. Let's get our players to the table. Up first, let's hear it for the 2023 European Masters Champion. It's the Hawk, Barry Hawkins. And his opponent is the reigning champion of the world. It's the Belgian bullet, Luca Brecel.
Well, it surely never gets old being introduced as world champion, and Luca Brecel, of course, has the whole season to enjoy that. But it's a season that he's yet to really get going. He hasn't played in everything by any means. I thought last week in China at the International Championship he did look a bit rusty. He lost in the second round there to Mark Davis. Barry Hawkins, on the other hand, he's having arguably his best ever season, having won a tournament. He's gone deep in a couple of other tournaments as well. Fourth on the one-year list.
The first frame, Barry Hawkins to break.
I think you'd have to say he starts favourite here, but maybe Brecel will do what he did at the Crucible, and that's find inspiration, because that's the sort of character he is. Is this the moment his season really gets going? Of course, he was in the Shanghai Masters final, but that was a couple of months ago now. Not much in the way of form. Not really much in the way of matches since. And the thing is, Neil, it's a great position to be in, obviously, but he knows everyone is scrutinising basically every match, every performance, every result.
Yeah, he's treading the path that others have done before, where it's not always, as a first-time champion, the easiest year on the table. It's great fun off the table, and it's what he's achieved is absolutely wonderful, becoming first Belgian player to be world champion. He did it in such wonderful style, you know, everything about it was just thrilling. But it's a tough ask to beat this man who's been very consistent ever since he had that victory at the start of the season in the European Masters. He beat Judd in that final, Judd Trump, which looks a good line of form now, and he's lost since a couple of times to Judd at fairly late stages of events. Generally speaking, you kind of know what you're going to get. A very solid performance, and this season a bit more than just the word solid. It's been excellent.
Yeah, and happy to be back in the Champion of Champions. It's his first appearance since 2018, his 6th overall. So it just shows you last few years hasn't been quite so successful, but that's all changed this year. He's actually only won one match in the tournament. That was way back in 2014. He beat John Higgins.
Yeah, that last cannon, it didn't go quite right. He now ends up with quite a difficult shot. It helps that he's a left-hander and he can reach across, but the pot on the red, and also it's sure to hit the black. And it's a question of in what direction it pushes the black, I suppose. There's the bridge. Not much fun, this shot. I tell you, he's done ever so well to get up there. Doesn't deserve the red to cover the blue, although the pink is available anyway. There's a good shot. I mean, I don't even know quite how it did it. He almost bounced over the side of the black, which is a legal shot. Terrific. Just already looks as if he's carrying on as he left off in previous events. Sharp.
Yeah, real contrast to the end of last season when He'd actually been relegated from the top 16 and had to go to qualifying with the World Championship and missed out for the first time in 17 years. Horrible for him to not be at the Crucible, but that's all a distant memory now. As I say, 4th on the one-year list, so looking good already to be in all of the Players' Series events.
He can go one of two ways. I mean, he's been a standing dish at the Crucible, and as you say, didn't make it. Must have hurt him.
25.
Somewhere along the lines, it made him knuckle down. It takes you back to the season before Mark Williams won his 3rd world title. He never even made it to the Crucible that year, so maybe it can give you the little kick you need to work over the summer and get the form back together.
26.
Yeah, I think he has been putting the work in, and I know also he's been into his fitness, which is good for the health side, but also the mental health side as well. It's made him feel just better about himself. So Barry Hawkins, pretty dangerous. I mean, he's an understated character in general, but on the table, very, very effective.
Got to be on your mark, haven't you, in these best of sevens? You know, within 45 minutes, you can either be knocked out or
32.
in big trouble in matches of this length. Oh, what a lovely shot. I mean, he really did thunder that in. But it felt as if he did it with complete control over cue ball and object ball. Look at the way he opened the reds. Beautiful.
$39.
So Hawkins looking good. Luca Brecel went for a long red to right corner, didn't really get too close to it. And he's watching here what he's up against today. An in-form Barry Hawkins. He'd been sort of pegged as a bit of a nearly man, even though he'd won tournaments. He'd been runner-up, obviously, in big events, the World Championship, the Masters a couple of times.
45.
So to win that European Masters, to beat Trump in the final, it looked good at the time. It looks even better now, considering Trump's 3 wins in a row since.
46. $53. $54.
Well, it's not quite the perfect start yet, but it might well be in about 3 or 4 shots, because he looks like he's
56.
very much on the brink of taking this frame in pretty rapid style.
$57.
Just needing a further red following this black.
Well, we had 5 centuries yesterday. The table's playing beautifully. And of
64.
course, these are the best players in the world, so we're expecting heavy scoring. We've got a big break right here in frame 1. That is 4-1-0 for Hawkins, looking very, very good indeed already. Just really nice control of that cue ball.
Yeah, you mentioned the table. I mean, it does, whether it's a good table or not, and it seems to be, as you say, playing delightfully. Most players take a few shots to adapt. It's almost like the table that's in his house or something. How quickly he's got used to playing on it. Every shot he seems to have judged to perfection.
72. $77. 78. 85. 86.
So often this is how you would see a Stephen Hendry or Ronnie O'Sullivan start a match right from frame one, showing their opponent just how good they're feeling, how well they're going to play today. Let's see if he can
93.
pot this and go on to make the century. He's
94.
looking very, very good. What a start from the Hawk. His 20th century of the season. The whole of last season he made 23. It just shows you how well he's playing in this campaign.
101.
And the scale of the task for
103.
Luca Brecel today.
Well, I mean, as I say, almost every shot has been played to perfection all the way through. Nothing's hit the jaw. All the pots have gone right in the middle of the pocket. It's just as good as it gets, really, as far as breaks are concerned. I know you could see a 147, and we've had a few of those, but it's not really the point. It's just in complete control. What a start.
115. 121.
It's hard to think how this could have been a better made break by anybody. That is just wonderful from Barry Hawkins. Some start to the second day of the Champion of Champions, a total clearance of 128 to take the first frame against Luca Brecel. But if you tuned in to watch the world champion Luca Brecel, you didn't see much of him in frame one. He had that long red, which he missed. Barry Hawkins made 128. Let's see if Brecel can get involved in this second frame. Of course, these are short matches, only best of 7, with the winner to play either Mark Williams or Robert Milkins this evening. Yeah, they've had 2 meetings. They've both gone to deciders. The first in the British Open 2 years ago, which Brecel won on the black, although that was only a very short match, 3-2. And then this season, Hawkins, he was 4-3 down to Brecel in Germany at that European Masters. He made a 1-3-3 to level up, and then he won the decider. Well, that's the difference, because that's very similar to the red Brecel took on.
1.
Well, again, it did not touch the sides. It absolutely flew in. Now, it's going to get more difficult on this next shot if he takes it on. Playing the green to the middle and you're leaving plenty. Should he miss it?
Four.
Barry, one of those players who uses the rest as if a right-handed player, given that he plays left-handed. And he's still one of the better rest players around, actually. I know there are people in the game who think he's as good as some of the others that are always talked about. Well, Luca has walked into one here, isn't he? I saw him arriving here in Bolton earlier on with a couple of friends. He certainly walked into one here. I mean, this is what happens when you're world champion. You're there to be aimed at, I suppose.
10. 11.
Not sure about the two reds directly above the red he's knocking
18.
in as to whether they pot. Well, it doesn't appear that they would pot. Maybe a little nudge
90.
on the right hand of those two reds, or even could go either way on them. But I think he's got to make contact with the reds. Trying to hit one to bring the other one into play. Pushed it back into the bunch, so there'll be more work required
26.
following this red and colour.
$27.
This time the cue ball runs a bit too far. I mean, straighter on the blue, he would give him an option to get into the bunch, but here, not really a very easy shot to play from blue. For once it didn't go in cleanly. That might be the reason the cue ball was ill-directed towards the pack.
31.
Well, there might be a three-ball plant here.
Yeah, I think
Barry
he was
Hawkins.
not
31.
entirely sure about it. He certainly played it as you say. But you can tell from where the cue ball's finished up that he didn't really know for sure it was going to go in. Just pushed offline, given the angle he was coming into the plant at.
Well, taking that plant on, it's opened everything up, which obviously is in Brecel's favour. So he's now looking to try and get in, and also, probably more importantly, keep Hawkins out. But there you go, another chip at red.
1.
Surely the brown to the middle is just too much to ask this time. And he's already got a little lead, so tickle him behind green. We saw one of these finish short yesterday.
Barry Hawkins. 1.
Tough shot to get the thin edge, and quite honestly, it'd be hard to be critical of Luca. He's been sitting in that chair almost all the way through the match. And when he comes out, he's to play out of a snooker.
One.
That's a rarity. Just had a little bit of left-hand side on this. If you see the cue ball, it just kind of slightly comes back straighter. And straight enough to go into the green. And I mean, he's got an absolutely dead straight pot to the right corner, but you don't feel like he necessarily would want to play it. No, he's taking this one instead. Tough shot. Goodness me, how is he playing?
7.
How is he playing here? Oh, that was sublime cueing. Didn't even make a sound. It went into the middle of the pocket so much. Now, getting tougher now. He's 51 out of 51 pot success so far. Conceivable it could end here because it's not easy, this red to middle.
$15. 90. $20.
The running joke about Barry is the multi-table tournaments. He comes through under the radar, which means he starts on an outside table and then turns up on quarterfinals day. Turns out he's been playing great the whole tournament. No under the radar here. You're very much on the radar. One table, and we're seeing here
27.
a very, very impressive start. Someone feeling confident, feeling good about their snooker, feeling good in themselves.
28.
And that ball should make it 2-0. So Luca Brecel, he's barely had a shot. He's gone for one long red in the first frame. In this frame, he's had nothing to go at. And within about 21, 22 minutes, he's going to be 2-0 down.
35.
Yes, and we don't know if there's going to be any balls left on the table at the end of this, but if there are to be, you know, Luca having a few shots wouldn't be the worst idea. Some players just never do it, but he might be as well just to pot a couple. Like I say, that's providing there are any to pot.
43.
Which I'm not sure there will be when he's playing.
$44.
Might have gone wrong, certainly for the middle of the table. Frame's completely over.
$50. Barry Hawkins, 50
Brecel,
and the frame.
he's just having a sip of water. He's not getting out of his seat. So 21 and a half minutes this match has been going. Barry Hawkins in the ascendancy very much here. He's absolutely dominated the first two frames. Brecel,
Thank
it's
you.
not so much he hasn't polyed the ball, he's only had one to go at.
Barry Hawkins, break.
So if he gets a chance at some point, he's going to have to try and get in here. But Hawkins at the moment, firmly in control. A mistake.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't hit the blue, they say, from the break off. He called it full on. The black doesn't go to the opposite corner. So immediately there is difficulty in this, getting to a colour. That's good cueing.
1.
Very nice cueing.
Yeah, at last there's some sort of chance here. Luca Brecel making his 5th appearance in the Champion of Champions. On his debut in 2017, he actually beat Judd Trump 4-0. It was kind of the other way round in terms of he was playing like Hawkins is here. It was a couple of centuries and 80 odd, just blitzed him. That can happen with these top players. Not had any success in the event since.
Five.
They looked disappointed. The angle he came in towards the reds at from the brown. This is the point, he hasn't had any table time, so the reactions of the balls isn't quite accustomed to yet. This is what he's like, though. You see, he's an incredibly dangerous player.
6.
You know, he's a shot maker, as we would say. People say, what does that mean? Well, someone that just dreams up shots when you think the break is over, he can find ways of keeping it alive. He's always been that sort of player.
Yeah, looking at the brown, he's tied the blue up, which doesn't help. But anyway, we'll see what he can sort of fashion here.
Had a good shot there to get on that red, because of course this
10.
is the red which is stopping the black from going to both corner pockets.
$11.
Well, he's checked to see if that red goes, and it certainly appears that it does. If you can get that side, it would certainly open up the black completely. Now he's wondering, does the green actually pass the yellow and blue? Yeah, it does. Well, the red definitely goes, but it's
40.
a little tight.
Well, it's good to see him playing again. He's had a break here and
22.
there this season, but memory's still fresh for everyone, I think, of the spring. Every match he played at the Crucible, it was like a boxing match on the edge of a cliff. They were all high stakes, they were all close, he had to make comebacks. It's just one of the most inspirational runs in any tournament, never mind the World Championship, that we've ever seen.
23.
It's a very difficult break to continue, though, with the blue and yellow completely locked out. I mean, the blue is such an integral ball when it's on its spot, positionally.
$26. $27.
So what does he do now? I mean, I don't know if there's a plant there, but nothing else is out in open play.
Yeah, this was the problem earlier. He tied that blue up. If he could have potted that, got it back on its spot, obviously it's a massive help.
Yeah, he felt that something had to give in the end because the Reds were not well placed. And surely break ends here.
31.
It's a good effort. It's only 31 after what we've seen from Barry Hawkins, but tells you at least that he's cueing well.
Luca, Brecel, 31.
Just thinking it would be an interesting place to land the cue ball in behind the blue. And it's pretty much done that. We've seen 2.5 very good frames. Both players have barely made an error. Now this is another tester. Long range. Not a huge amount of table time.
One.
Well, this could be a pretty vile snooker that he's putting him in here. It's not really what he wants, but it'd have to be.
Luca, Brecel, 1.
I was keen to put a bit of more pace on that, just to free the blue, rather than keep the yellow and blue together.
Well, on the way, you think, can that possibly reach? But this table is lightning fast.
Yeah, I didn't think that was ever going to reach. He's got the perfect judgment of pace. He could be somewhere in there again. Maybe the next best thing, this side of the blue, an awkward queuing.
These are big moments in this match. Brecel just looking for some sort of foothold. Obviously, if he's 3-0 down to someone playing as well as Hawkins, it's a tall order. Determined to try and keep the pressure on here.
Yeah, not much doing there, is there, as far as hitting a ball? Might be able to play cushion first onto that red by the black, but even then, that's not an easy shot to play.
Foul. No miss. Luca, Brecel, 4.
I think Barry might as well just stand in that corner for a while. He's going to be playing most of his shots from in there, pull a chair up, I think. Because if Luca isn't able to pot one, I think he's going to be putting him in that corner. Barry Hawkins, as honest as ever, is saying that maybe it's a little bit more difficult putting the cue ball further left as we look. So that's not helping him, but he's just being honest.
Well, there was a chance. He was already in front in the frame by 36, but not to be. Could have been 2-1 there. Just sort of been hit by an express train a little bit, hasn't he, here today? Brecel's not had much table time. And now he's in that nasty corner.
Yeah, this is high-class snooker, isn't it? It's not all about potting balls. It's locating areas on the table where you don't really want to have to play from and putting your opponent there. Anyway, good duel, this. Luca desperately needs his frame.
Well, just for a moment, it looked like he'd flute one, but no.
Well, Luca's got to brace himself after the shot Barry played him, because this surely would win in the frame, but it's not easy. You knew there was a riding on it. Oh dear. He had no choice but to play it, but I don't think he really wanted to. He wanted something easier to start.
One. Seven. Eight. $14. $15.
So the blue finally back on its spot, which is going to be a help
20.
here.
21.
Well, it wouldn't quite kill the match off should Hawkins win the frame at this visit. But 3-0, the way he's playing, in the best of 7 lead. Quite hard to overturn.
$27. $28. $34. $35.
Yeah, I mean, he's got obviously the problem with the red near the cushion. A feeling he could play on it now if he really wanted to. That's quite a brave shot. I don't think many players would have gone for it at this point, but he feels that
40.
with the other red by the pink, it's the right moment.
Well, 2 reds, 2
41.
pinks. That's the first of them. You wouldn't need the brown. So Luca Brecel will be very concerned right now. He made the running in this frame.
47.
The only frame really he's had any sort of look in so far.
$48.
Yeah, it's a good call, isn't it, about the points you mentioned, taking the pink. It's not going to be by chance. It's for the reasons Dave said. It doesn't want to be left needing the brown ball. Could have easily played up on the blue off the previous red. But that's what match snooker is about, just maximising
54.
your options and your percentage calls. And this will be frame ball. Then he could
56.
the luxury of just rolling the brown in, knowing that Luca Brecel needs a snooker.
Well, it just about dropped. So 23 ahead, 22 on.
59.
Tough forgetting a snooker with the black where it is. If there was any room behind it, it would help, but there isn't.
$4.
So much more difficult getting snookers beyond a ball that's in the middle of the table, to one that's close to a cushion or close to a pocket. This is a great idea. That's a really clever shot that he's tried.
Luca Brecel,
It's
4.
unlucky not to be tight though. The idea was very good. I think he needs the black out here. That's the only real hope he's got. Getting the black off where it is. Nice shot. Gives him some kind of a glimmer.
Close. Very different frame to the first two, but it would hurt Brecel the most because he did have the lead and had chances. So he's taking it down to pink and black.
5.
Yeah, you only get one shot really when it comes to this. The only good news is where the black is, if you could get a snooker behind it, it's likely to be an awkward one.
Luca Brecel, 5.
You look at all these permutations, it seems really difficult to think he could get behind the black from here. Again, it's quite a good effort, but a very awkward shot he was faced with. Barry just thinking that whichever way he plays it, the in-off is possible in about 4 different pockets. That's what you feel like sometimes. You get a little scared not to make an obvious foul.
So the world champion, Luca Brecel, in serious trouble. Barry Hawkins looking very, very good here this afternoon, and he's won from a place in the group final tonight. He leads here in Bolton by 3 frames to 0. And Barry Hawkins very much on top. He's the form man this season of the 2 against Luca Brecel, and that's how it's played out so far. 3-0. He only needs one more, and he'll be taking on either Mark Williams or Robert Milkins tonight.
Thank you. Frame 4. Luca Brecel to break.
Brecel's highest break so far, 31. When he had the chance in the last frame, the balls were very awkward. So can he get a better chance early on in a frame to make something more substantial?
Goodness, what a shot again that is. I mean, that is the place he wanted the cue ball to finish because it's perfectly safe. Barring the red that, of course, he played and missed. And he's on the black as well. Well, this is, I mean, frame 3 was more hard work. This is another terrific long pot.
8.
His performance so far has been absolutely top class here.
9.
Yeah, he's a very modest character, Barry Hawkins. You never see him involved in controversy or saying anything about people, and maybe all that means he isn't really talked about enough for how good he is. But we're seeing it here this afternoon. This is brilliant performance. Can he kill it off here? Again,
that cue ball just whizzed through the bunch there. yes, he's not left him a
60.
very easy continuation red, queuing over a ball, but the others are split beautifully.
$17. 22. 23.
Again, nicely played, just clearing all the reds away in playing the
30.
cannon. He's actually got 3 reds that he can play, all with a degree of difficulty about them. In fact, make it 4 if he's looking at that one in the bunch. But of course, the cue ball he's got to get out of there onto a colour. They're all got something about them, all of the shots he's faced with, which mean it could conceivably go wrong. Not that much has gone wrong for him today.
Yeah, and I'm sure,
31.
assuming he does win, when Rob interviews him, he'll play it all down. But inside, he must be so satisfied with this performance here this afternoon. Not played in the Champion of Champions for 5 years, and last time he won a match was back in 2014.
Well, I think the feature of his performance so far, and he hasn't won yet, of course, maybe about to, is how quickly he got out of the blocks and into his sort of comfortable stride. Table posed him no threats. He was totally at home. But he's still got to finish this job off, yeah? You know, there's still
37.
things that can change in a best of 7. It's whether you think he's going to
38.
give Luca another chance. I think that's the first question.
Well, there it is, the pot success
45.
for the whole match, 97%, Barry Hawkins.
46.
And just one miss in live play. The others were a couple of misses when the frame was already over.
$53. 54.
They always work very hard at their technique. I've watched Barry in practice rooms, various venues, and he's got a real drill of a routine. You know, he takes on the same shots. Everything he does, it might as well be in a match how
59.
seriously he takes all the shots. Getting yourself to cue in a straight line, the muscle
60.
memory. Never taking shots lightly. And that's how he's got himself into this position. Well-drilled performance, but also just an excellent one. We keep saying it, but goodness, he's played well
67.
here.
Yes, and he needs this red, and he will be in the group final tonight. Take a bow, Barry Hawkins. What a performance right from the off in frame one. He looked on it, and he's kept the pressure on Brecel. Really, it was only the last frame where he had any sort of look in.
$75.
I know not everybody watches every match of the season, but coming into this event, Hawkins certainly was one of the 3 or 4 star performers, and he's proving that here. He's kept on, and if anything, seems to be getting better this season.
81.
Let's see if he can finish with a second century.
82. $87. 88.
He's done the one thing that top snooker players do. He's made a very difficult game look very easy. Anyone that's played snooker will tell you I'll pot 2 or 3 balls in a row. Some of the times.
93.
He's making it look like the easiest thing in the world.
94.
Yeah, it must be such a great feeling, as you say, such a difficult game. This pick then for a second century to complete a wonderful afternoon for Barry Hawkins, who's brought his A game to Bolton and has sent the world champion packing in less than an hour. We were wondering if we would see Brecel turn it on like he did at the Crucible. The truth is he barely had a chance to.
Marathon 1. $108.
Just a terrific performance from Barry Hawkins. He opened with a break of 128 and kept the pressure on, won that close third frame. He's finished with a second century, 108, and in just 55 minutes, he's beaten the world champion Luca Brecel 4-0 to advance to the group final tonight.